Hey guys.
Hey guys.
We're back again for another For Grace, for Empowerment motivational message. And we're so excited to be here again today for another 4 minutes to talk to you a little bit about looking like Jesus and acting like Jesus. It's something that the Lord gave me during our Sunday devotion time. And He gave it to me like this. I thought about, eating your most favorite meal on earth, and maybe even like the most perfect meal and the last meal that you'll ever eat on earth. And I don't know, I said mine would be a classic steak, char grilled, maybe some mushrooms, and you thought about, I think your favorite was Alfredo. Whatever it is for you, think about that. And like at the very last hour, what if you had to give that away, like your favorite meal, and you had to give it away to another person? And so we talked a little bit about that, and I said, what God is calling us to do, He's calling us to give an offering. He's calling us to offer something, and sometimes it feels like a little painful when you got to give something that you really want for yourself. And I thought about that, and I said, sometimes I find myself even giving God the leftovers. And if the truth be told, because I love Jesus so much, I want to look like Him. Because you see pictures in your head of Jesus, and you've seen the illustrations of Jesus, and you've seen the kindness in His eyes, and you've seen the kindness in His face, and if you're like me, you'll practice that because you want to look like Jesus. In fact, I'm growing out my beard because I just picture Jesus with a nice beard. Whatever. Like that's how I feel about Christ. But there's a difference between looking like Jesus and acting like Jesus. Two entirely different things. And sometimes we need to come out of like the hypocrisy of looking like our hero and learning to act like our hero, because these are the things that our hero has done. He has character. He's flawless behind the scene. He's flawless inwardly, and he's flawless outwardly. People. I imagine they saw Jesus, and they were taken by His humility and by His kindness and by His love, all of His actions. But what was Jesus like behind the scenes? He was praying to His Father. He was doing right. He was doing good. It's different just looking like Jesus versus acting like Jesus. And I want to encourage everyone, let's get to know Jesus more so that we can learn how to do like Jesus has done. I remember reading in the scripture when He got down on the ground and He started writing, because He was teaching parables to people that were broken. I remember a Jesus that, He allowed people to approach Him in crowded spaces. And I don't know about you, but I feel a little weird in crowded spaces. I love big crowds and big spaces, but you want to really freak me out, give a big crowd in a small space, and I'm going to really. But Jesus allowed people to come around Him and love upon Him. And He said, let suffer the little children to come unto me. Suffer not the little children to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven. I mean, we serve such a great God, someone who can be emulated, someone that you can look at and try to be like, but it would be better to act like Him.
Yes. I'm going to take a different spin on that, which is going to be noted as forgiveness. When you look at Jesus, like you said, we want to act like Jesus a lot of times, and we put on a facade, or, and the better lack words, mouth words, saying things out your mouth. But what happens when, someone has hurt you, and they really hurt you? It's not like you did anything, it wasn't your fault, and they hurt you. But to act like Jesus and to put that on is an act of forgiveness. And I think that's important because that's a prevailing thing in our families. It's a prevailing issue in the church, if we're honest, just having the character of forgiveness in your heart. When we look at Jesus Christ, He forgave constantly. He would pardon, people's sins. He said, come, seek me, and God would forgive them of their sins. When we think about the thief on the cross, He said, this day you're going to be with me in paradise. He didn't say, oh, let me think about it, or let me just get over this and that. No, He was ready and willing to forgive at all costs. So I want to encourage that aspect of acting and being like Christ, is just remember forgiveness, because I do think that unforgiveness damages a lot of relationships, a lot of families, and like I said, even in the church, on your jobs, we have to have that heart of forgiveness, just like Christ showed us. That's what.
Let's act like Jesus. Let's get to know him more and more, and we'll be more and more like him. My little guys, when I talked to them about the offering, and I said, let's not use the name of the word in the definition, but tell me what an offering is. It's something that is given, something that is taken from your own personal, your pockets or your own personal space, and you give it to somebody else. And I think that's what God is calling. In fact, I know that's what God is calling us to do, to give more, so that we not only do we look like Jesus, and the world can see, but we're acting like Jesus. He loved the poor, and he loved the broken, and he loved those that didn't have it all together. But that's exactly who Jesus was and is. And I think that's who Jesus will always be. All right, so until next time, let's be like Jesus. Well, we hope that you enjoyed this video, and should you need to contact our ministry for help, for support, for any prayer, or just because you need a friend, we are here for you, and you can reach us at 609-316-1297.
Also, please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you like the videos, click below for some more. Enjoy.